United Breweries, Telecom Australia, McDonald's, Nike, Ansett Australia and Foodland. The Bombers come into this final as hot favourites. It's a team boasting a potent mix of youth and experience. The Baby Bombers are the Essendon youth, and these young men are enjoying a strong taste of finals football. Last Sunday, Essendon outplayed the most feared club in the league, the Eagles from Perth, to qualify for the final three. Adelaide, despite its loss to Carlton, is earning respect. The Crows have been put to the test in Melbourne during September and proved to be not only competitive but dangerous as well. Today, there's no second chance. The loser goes home. The winner earns the privilege of coming back as a grand finalist. It's Essendon versus Adelaide in the 1993 preliminary final at the MCG.
Hello and welcome to the MCG. Almost a perfect day for football, a big crowd building up. And we welcome our viewers in Australia and our friends throughout Asia who are taking this telecast today of the preliminary final. It's Essendon up against Adelaide. It's the Bombers against the Crows. For the winner, a grand final berth against Carlton next Saturday at this ground. For the loser, it's the end in 1993. Both teams have been involved in 2 finals matches so far, and their form's pretty good. Essendon just missed out in the qualifying final to Carlton. They had a number of changes in that night match. They lost by 2 points. And then last Sunday, they were most impressive in defeating the champions of last year, West Coast, by 32 points. Adelaide sprung a big surprise in the opening weekend, defeating Hawthorn at this ground. And then last Saturday, gave Carlton a good run for its money. They kicked 8 goals, 20 to 13-8, and lost by 18 points. So they come together for only the second time this season, the Crows and the Bombers. The last time the Bombers were involved in a preliminary final, it was a very good story for them. They bolted in against West Coast back in 1990. Drew Morford's been looking at their preparation.
It's been a busy week for the teams in the finals. Apart from treating injuries that can be extra expensive at this time of the year, there are the public appearances. Everyone wants a slice of the action, and the best way to promote anything in this town in September is with a footballer in the finals, especially when your club is virtually representing the state against a foreign invader. And the Bombers aren't looking forward to Carlton and forgetting about Adelaide.
And it is true, people have been saying to me, and I think probably all our players, that we're through the grand final already, and gee, you know, football's a terrible game, you know, when you start thinking like that, because as soon as you start thinking like that, you'll fall over, and Kevin Shee's been right on to us about it. So the players have just got to focus on Adelaide and not even think about next week at all.
Actually, everyone in Victoria thinks that we're just going to win, but you know, the Crows have surprised everyone, and they've played pretty well. So it's not going to be any pushover, that's for sure.
Their older players have been swept along by the new breed. 8 of today's team are 20 or younger.
The young players who are in the side are very experienced young players because of they've played a lot of top-level junior-type football. A lot of them played in the seconds finals last year. So, they're used to big crowds. We've had big games this year. I don't think those sorts of things are going to bother them too much.
4 times they've played in front of crowds of over 75,000. Does the big time affect Ricky Olorenshaw, who's played just 14 games? Not a bit.
Big crowds don't worry us anymore. I think when we run out, the bigger the better. I look around and see him, he's there, and the more there is, the better.
What a year it's been for Essendon, and surprisingly, this is the 16th time this year that they've played at the MCG. For Adelaide, it's been an up and down week. They've had a lot of injury problems. Andrew Kay looks at their preparation.
There was nothing like the 5,000 fans at the airport when the Crows arrived home after being beaten by Carlton, as there was after they'd eliminated Hawthorn. But this time fans weren't allowed in the terminal, and the weather was pretty ordinary. First thing Sunday morning, training, running out the sore spots and getting ready for the next challenge. But every player was aware a repeat performance against Essendon and the season would be over.
We had so much of the ball. It was disappointing that we'd push it forward, and we just couldn't score goals.
Monday brought bad news. Wayne Wiedemann cited on video on a charge of unduly rough play. Skipper Chris McDermott remained positive. This was the most open premiership race for years.
We're back at the MCG, which suits us, and we play good footy there, so there's no reason why we can't impose our presence on the game from the start.
On Tuesday, 5 Crows were honoured with representation in the All-Australian team. Tony McGuinness for the 4th time, Ben Hart and Nigel Smart for the 2nd, and first-timers Greg Anderson and Tony Modra.
It's a great thrill, and it's even a greater thrill that we've got 5 players in. I mean, a quarter of the side coming from one club is a great result for the Adelaide Footy Club.
On Wednesday, the rumours started. Modra wasn't fit, neither was Liptak. Hart wouldn't play, Wigney was doubtful, Lee wouldn't recover in time. It may have been a game, but Modra wasn't playing.
Yeah, I'm just a little bit sore, but I'll be right for Sunday.
Wiedemann was found not guilty of unduly rough play on Wednesday night, leaving the entire squad free to train for the final time on Thursday, and they looked impressive. Late Friday afternoon they left, taking with them the hopes of more than 1 million South Australians.
Well, in their one match this season, it was round 9 here at the MCG. Essendon won by plenty, by 46 points in the end. It was 16-15 the Bombers over Adelaide, 10 goals 5, and significantly Paul Salmon didn't play in that match. Bernie Quinlan I should say, and Ian Robertson are with me today. I mentioned Salmon, Bernie, because he has been a problem for the Crows in the past.
Yes, he's been a real problem, hasn't he? When they won in Adelaide, Essendon, last season, he kicked 9 goals. And he kicked 8 goals in the pre-season Foster's Cup competition. So Paul Salmon, they found it very difficult, Robbo, to match up on him. I think probably Pittman, with his height, will pick him up this afternoon.
I don't think it'll matter who you played on him. It's going to be a big problem, isn't it? He's such a tall player. He's a good mark, and I think he's a very good finisher too. He usually kicks quite accurately. Essendon, they were very good last week against West Coast. I was very impressed with their performance, and they've got terrific motivation, Bruce, because I live out in Ascot Vale, and I get the feeling amongst a lot of Essendon people that they think they can beat Carlton, and that'll be the best motivation you've ever got to win today.
Bernie, Adelaide's inability to kick goals. Only twice in 9 Melbourne matches this year they've kicked over 13 goals.
Well, that may be an over-reliance, I think, Bruce, on Tony Modra, who's kicked 123 goals for the season. The next best goal kicker for Adelaide this year is Matthew Liptak with 27, so you can see the huge imbalance there on their forward line. And I think it may be a little bit easier to match up with the Adelaide forwards than it is to match up with the Essendon forwards.
Let's look at the Essendon lineup.
Well, only one change for the Essendon lineup from last week. Mark Thompson, the captain, back in on that half-back flank. He's got over that calf problem.
Would you put Kickett in the 18? I know it'd be a bit of a real big risk, but Sheedy was quoted as saying that he's one of his stormtroopers.
Look, Kickett can be a match winner, and he did that exactly 3 or 4 weeks ago here at this very ground against Footscray when he kicked 8 goals. But the 3 weeks after that, he's been dragged to 3 matches. He's been very ordinary. He can play great football and match-winning football, but he can be very ordinary.
Well, I guess on the same token, Adelaide rely, as you've already said, on Tony Modra, and I think the key player in that lineup is Nigel Smart. First selected in the All-Australian team as a back pocket player and played a fantastic game against Hawthorn where he kicked 4 goals. There's a lot of emphasis placed on Smart and Modra and Wigney, as Bruce has already mentioned, to help Adelaide kick a winning score.
Well, I know we've got hundreds of thousands of people watching us around Australia. A special cheerio to Mrs. Elsie Oliver from Port Macquarie. Elsie will be 101 in February. She's been a Bomber supporter for 91 and a half years, and she knows all the players' first and second names. Elsie, enjoy the day. Max Stevens and Don Scott are down at the boundary line. Max, lots of talk during the week about the Crows and the injuries. Were they playing a game with us or not?
Well, Graham Corns, as you know, Bruce, said last week that there was no problem with Tony Modra. Then 2 days later he came out saying that he was doubtful for the game. Tony himself came out and said that he was okay and would definitely make himself available. Matthew Liptak, that was also a similar situation, so maybe you're right, Graham was playing a game.
What's your feelings on it, Don? You've seen a lot of Essendon this year and has also seen Adelaide in a number of crucial matches.
Well, I think, Bruce, they won't line up as they've been named. I think that Hodges will take the field. I've always been impressed with Hodges, and I think if they could work something, he and Modra out of the forward line, I think that could be a plus because they really do need someone or something to kick goals up on the forward line, Adelaide.
Well, Tony Modra, last week he wasn't playing too well. They brought Scott Hodges in, so 9 goals with Port Adelaide last week. You reckon he'll start in the pocket? Yes,
I think it's unfortunate for Tasker. I said that. I think he will start in the forward pocket. Maybe unfortunate for Tasker, a big fellow going out of the side, but you know, they know what they're on about, Adelaide, and just that I think there's a little bit of inflexibility on their forward line.
Paul Salmon, Pittman, I mean, that's the guy that's going to cause problems.
Well, yes, but also you've got to take your hat off to Pittman. He came in as a ruckman, and his mobility has always impressed, and now they've paid him the compliment of playing in a position. A big man like that playing in a position, I think it'll be a terrific contest, and I think that he's a very underrated player.
And our information is that Scott Lee and Stuart Wigney will start on the bench.
Thanks for that. Don and Max on the boundary now. The Melbourne Sportsbook latest odds for the Premiership, Carlton favourite, so they should be. They're already in the grand final. They're 5-4 on Essendon 10-9 and Adelaide at 5-1. So you can see from those odds the Bombers are hot favourites to win today over the Crows. A break back with more from the MCG after this. The medal is about to be presented to Gary Ablett, who 5 times this year kicked 10 goals or more, including 14 against Essendon. 14 goals, 7 at this very ground. And don't forget that Ablett did kick 8 goals against the Bombers in the preliminary final in 1989. Well, Ablett knows what it's like to play on the MCG, Norman medalist in 89, and it is a great atmosphere, and it's that again today. The crowd is big, it's not huge, it would be about 65,000, maybe getting up towards 70, and it could build in the next 10 or 15 minutes. As I said earlier, almost a perfect day. You can see there are a few vacant spots, but still it's a tremendous place to be. The Mecca of footy, the MCG, and what a day we're in for. Well, we've had one presentation to Gary Ablett for 124 goals, the Coleman Medal. On Monday night, the big one in football, the Brownlow Medal. It'll be telecast on a number of stations around Australia, and with his preview, here's Jim Wilson.
I declare Scott Wine the winner of the 1992 Brownlow Medal.
For the past 2 years, football's most coveted award has been won by ruckman. Last year, Footscray's Scott Wine capped a memorable season by polling 20 votes. Now, the 1991 Brownlow medalist, Mr. Nice Guy Melbourne ruckman Jimmy Steins is expected to once again do well. Who does the likeable Irishman see as his main dangers?
There's a lot of guys that have had really good years, like Wayne Carey and Williams and McGuinness and these sort of guys. So, I'd say a winner will come from one of those.
Tony McGuinness is Adelaide's big hope and averaged nearly 21 kicks a game this year. In his time at Footscray, he polled well, and now he could be just the man to beat the more fancy candidates, namely Greg Williams and Wayne Carey.
Look, you'd like to go to it thinking you could poll well, but I've been going for 7 or 8 years now, and every year, you get surprised about how many you do poll, how many you don't. It's just so hard to predict.
Carey has come of age in 1993, and his class and leadership was a major factor behind North's resurgence this season. But the 22-year-old rates himself only an outside chance.
I honestly don't think I'm a chance. Like I said, I think I've been consistent, but not brilliant enough to win a Brownlow.
The year 1986, and Greg Williams tasted Brownlow glory for the first time, sharing the medal with Hawthorn strongman Robert Di Domenico. Now Diesel is the outright favourite for this year's medal, and he's been instrumental in the Blues reaching their first grand final since 1987.
Yeah, it just depends on how the umpires see it, really. You really don't know how they're going to vote until the night, and I'll be there with just as good a chance as anyone else, I think.
But don't forget this bloke. Essendon's Gavin Wanganeen is one of the most exciting prospects to emerge in the game for many years, and expecting to poll well on Monday night.
You've got to be fairly consistent in the air, and I wasn't all that consistent, but probably I'd say maybe Carey and Williams, those guys have had a fairly consistent year.
Other contenders include Fitzroy's Alistair Lynch and Crow's goal-kicking sensation Tony Modra.
Here Gary Ablett with the Coleman Medal, next to him Rod Keogh of Melbourne with the Gardner Medal from the VSFL. His second Gardner Medal, Liberatore also won 2. And here's Dean Watson from the Southern Stingrays as the Bombers come out. Watson having won the Morris Medal. So the Bombers are out early. Hot favourites to win this preliminary final. There's Tim Watson, his 24th final game today. David Flood next to him, 28, who played only his 3rd game for the season and his first finals match last weekend as the Bombers crash through the banner and make their way out onto the ground. So Essendon already out. We've been told there are no changes to either lineup. And what a big occasion for those 8 men who are 20 years and under who are playing for the Bombers today. So Adelaide to come, and we'll be set for what should be a great match of footy. We've had a Brownlow medal preview already from Jim Wilson. Let's see what the commentators think about who will win the 1993 Brownlow.
I think Gary Ablett should win this year's Brownlow. Regretfully, he can't. So I'm going for Tony McGuinness to score from Jason Dunstall and Wayne Carey.
Well, the Brownlow medal, I think there's a couple of players who are ineligible who'll do very well. However, in the end, I think you might find that Jim Steins, Wayne Carey and Greg Williams will be the three better bowlers, with maybe Steins, who I've seen a fair bit of this year, taking it off for a second time.
For the Brownlow medal, Tony McGuinness from Adelaide.
Well, in a close tussle, I'll go for Greg Williams to win the Brownlow medal from Wayne Carey. Tony McGuinness and Gavin Wanganeen also to figure prominently, and Lynch from Fitzroy also to do well.
The 1993 Brownlow medalist will be North Melbourne captain Wayne Carey. I think his closest opponent will be Greg Williams from Carlton, who's had a terrific year as well, and the best outsider, Fitzroy's very, very good player, Alistair Lynch.
Well, you can't do much more than handle the ball more than everybody else in the competition, and being a previous winner, we know you'll already come under the notice of the umpires. Already you're Channel 7's Footballer of the Year and won just about every other award. It'll be Greg Williams.
I believe the 1993 Brownlow medal winner will be Jimmy Steins of Melbourne. He has already won it once before. The umpires love him and he has had a fine season.
Well, I've got to say I can't get away from the fancied pair, Wayne Carey and Greg Williams, but if there is to be a roughie, I've seen Tony McGuinness for Adelaide play some terrific games this season, so Carey, Williams and maybe Tony McGuinness for the Brownlow.
For the Brownlow medal, I like the North Melbourne captain Wayne Carey. He's had a tremendous season.
Greg Williams to win the Brownlow from the fast finishing Tony McGuinness, and equal third Wayne Carey and Alistair Lynch.
Well, the Brownlow was another dramatic night. Two Geelong players, Gary Ablett and Gary Hocking, finished in the top three, first and third, but they're ineligible. Sandwiched in between them was the 93 winner. He's done it again, Greg Williams of Carlton.
Beautiful conditions here at the MCG today, and quickly we'll have a look at the wind, and it's swirling right around the ground, about 5 k's, no goal advantage whatsoever at this stage. Now the ground condition excellent, very hard in the centre and maybe a whisker, believe it or not, slippery around the flanks. Forecast fine with cloud increasing and freshening northerly winds. Our expected top 19 degrees, but have a look at that. We're already past that. The current temperature, if you can believe it, 23 degrees, humidity 29%.
Warm day in Melbourne. The selections, the Bombers, the hot favourites amongst the commentators as well. 4-1 in favour of Essendon over Adelaide. Max Stevens, the odd man out.
I have to admit, Bruce, that I thought Hawthorn would teach Adelaide a lesson a couple of weeks ago.
Had a few letters, Robbo. People reminding me about that.
I got one specifically, but I just think the opposition, similar opposition, Adelaide, to what Carlton had last week, Essendon fronting up today, and there wasn't much between the Blues and the Bombers a couple of weeks ago, was there?
Only a kick at the end with Watson's goal on the siren. So we're about to play the national anthem.
Boys and girls, on behalf of CLB, the Australian Football League, players and officials of the Adelaide Crows and Essendon, we invite you now to stand for the playing of the national anthem.
Great moments in sport, no doubt about that. That moment when the anthem's played and afterwards. And the Crows have got plenty of support here again this week. Crowd has built up in the last 10 minutes or so. And it's looking to be about 70,000. Look at the giant, number 3, Salmon. Great responsibility. Wren, he only played one of his first 8. Here's the toss.
And Bomber Thompson has won the toss and elected to kick to the right of screen.
Thanks for that, Max. So Thompson winning the toss over Chris McDermott. Now, speaking of Chris McDermott, the players' bar back in Adelaide, they'll be cheering today. That's Chris McDermott's bar back in South Australia. Bernie, what about some of the big keys today? Salmon?
Yes, Paul Salmon. Well, I think that Pittman will have to match up with him. 206 centimetres is Paul Salmon. Pittman 198 centimetres. So Paul Salmon with a decided height advantage there, but I think he's the only one to go with him.
Well, on the other hand, Greg Anderson, a prolific possession gatherer for the Adelaide side, and of course playing against his old team. He played quite a few games with the Bombers, but a very, very important player for Adelaide.
And Gavin Wanganeen, the former Port Adelaide player, what a champion he's been since he's been at Essendon. A lot of people tipped for the Brownlow medal, an exciting prospect, fantastic in that back pocket.
Andrew Jarman, I think, can have a bit of an influence here today. These conditions would suit him. I know he's not blessed with a lot of pace, but a very skillful player, and he has to produce, as do these players. I think the bench players, they're not no longer, but do they just replace? Exactly. They have to have an impact, don't they?
Integral part of the side, the interchange these days, Robbo. There's another very important player, Nigel Smart. It looks as if Masudi's picking him up, so Joe Masudi playing at centre half back, or is it Grenvold? Yes, Grenvold now has moved alongside him.
Start of the game of the MCG preliminary final. Adelaide to the left. Essendon to the right again. Essendon going without a traditional centre half forward here. A vacant spot there. Wren won the first tap out of the centre. Denham's quick kick will probably get the job to tag McGuinness. Visca gets a kick away for Adelaide. A half forward. Smart in the box seat. Went with one hand. Grenvold on him. Smart from 55 metres. Centering kick to the goal square. Not a bad one. Hodges sets himself. Chance for Liptak. First goal round the body. Looks good. Great start. It's the start the Crows wanted. And they've got the jump within a minute.
Yes, that's just what they need, Bruce. A lot of people thought after last week's performance by Essendon over the West Coast Eagles that they would automatically go into the grand final, but that may not be the case. Their biggest problem may be overconfidence here, thinking that Adelaide cannot go all the way. And here it is, good for the forwards to get a few touches early. Liptak doing the roving. 28 goals now for the season for Liptak.
So Matthew Liptak, the first goal scorer of the day, misses Visca. Overrunning at Hills, kick off the ground for Essendon, force the ball towards centre half forward. Anderson can't control the football. Jarman has it, tackled by Hurd. Players jump on top of the football, and there's a free kick picked out. It's going maybe against McDermott, and it'll go to Watson.
He had to get that free kick, Robbo. He's on the bottom of the pack. McDermott laid all over the top of him, right in the middle of his back. And Tim Watson, maybe the distance I think will worry him, Robbo, just outside the 50-metre area.
He'd be a chance. Kicks it high in the air. The breeze is going to goal. Well done, Watson. Making a comeback this year and having a very big influence in the Bombers' surge towards the flag in 1993.
Yes. Great effort there from Timmy Watson. A great kick. I thought maybe the distance just outside 50 or 53 metres. And there we see McDermott all over Timmy Watson. No doubt about that free kick. And just on the breeze, it did help it through.
Scores level at the G. Liptak and Watson the goal scorers. In a fast opening. Visca again. O'Donnell good tackle by Wiedemann. Jarman tries to crash his way through. Can't do so. All in short to Thompson. Centering kick to centre half forward. McDermott. So one captain to another. And McDermott takes the mark at centre half back. Goes short to McGuinness. Gets him at half back. More kicks than anyone else in the game this season.
Being tagged by Denham, Bruce. Here's Tony McGuinness.
Centre wing the kick. Somerville. Smart interferes. Free kick Somerville. Caught between them, Smart. There with Grenvold at the back.
The other interesting matchup, Bruce, Andrew Jarman and Michael Long.
Somerville handballed off to Masudi. Masudi's floating punt kick to right half forward. Chance for O'Donnell. He kicks it quickly, which he normally does, Gary O'Donnell. And the ball bounces over for a throw-in in front of young Mark Rasciuto. 18 years of age, a big job for him, picking up Darren Buick, and there's a big job for another youngster, Dustin Fletcher, picking up Tony Modra.
He kept him to 3 goals at their only encounter this year, Robbo. He only had 3 kicks for the afternoon, Tony Modra.
Ruck contest, Salmon and Pittman. Salmon after it again. When it hits the ground, he can't control it. Now he tries to get it to James Hurd. Little kick, a mark again to McDermott, plays on, and over the shoulder. Is the indication from the umpire.
It's taken high by Mark McCurry there.
And Darren Goldspink officiating down that end of the ground at the moment. High kick to half-back. No mark taken. Now the pressure on Olorenshaw. A free kick picked out of it again. It's going to Essendon to be taken by Rick Olorenshaw. He's at right half forward. He kicks in towards centre half forward. Looking for Salmon. Ball hits the ground. McCurry couldn't get a little toe poke to it. McDermott away Vickley. And then Maynard, then Jarman, sweeping hand pass, good combination by the Crows. Rashudo's kick out into the path of Brown. The bounce favours that player. He's a left foot kick, forced to kick with the right foot. Not bad, up to half forward. Smart couldn't take the mark. Here's Mercedes, a very composed young man. Thompson's kick smothered. Kick off the ground by Brown. Goes loose to right half forward. Chance for Liptak. Picked up by Wanganeen. Given away to Wiedemann. Wiedemann in all sorts of trouble. Wanganeen could clear. Hand pass is okay for Mercedes. And Joe Mercedes has a look downfield. The kick. Good play by Olorenshaw. Now a chance for Telford. He punches his way through. At centre half forward. Short kick. He's okay. In front of Pittman.
Yes, and some great shepherding behind the play there by the veteran Timmy Watson, who's already played in 4 grand finals, including 2 premierships. And Timmy will be wanting to win this one to get into his 5th grand final next week.
Well, Salmon kicking from about 35 metres. Slight angle. We mentioned in the preview that Paul Salmon is a fairly reliable kick. So let's see what he can do with this one. A goal each at the moment. Salmon shot for goal. Second goal of the Bombers.
Louise said goodbye to her job.
I'm going to Mexico.
Thelma said goodbye to her husband.
I left him a note.
They didn't go looking for trouble.
Fill her up.
They were looking for adventure. They found plenty of both. For the first time on television,
You gonna apologize or what?
the electrifying box office smash starring Gina Davis, Susan Sarandon, and the piano's Harvey Keitel. Toyota presents the Oscar-winning Thelma and Louise. 8:30 Sunday on 7.
Essendon by a goal. Salmon with his first. It's 2-1 Olorenshaw, who's good play in the centre over Tregenza a moment ago. Set that goal up. Thompson's wobbly one. Rashudo went with one hand. McDermott to Jarman. Left foot to centre wing. Wiedemann outnumbered. Hill's getting back. Left hand handball to Thompson. Thompson from centre wing again. Good looking kick, plenty of distance. Salmon being held on to. Get back very well. Still Salmon. Misses. The players all around him.
Did all the work and then missed. I mean, you probably would have thought he could have kicked that.
Stuart Wigney and Scott Leon need a change for the Adelaide Crows.
Ben Hart playing his first finals match. He and Hodges, the only 2 players out there who haven't experienced a finals match before.
And named twice All-Australian, Bruce. Not bad for a young 19-year-old player.
2 out of 2. Danger here for the Crows. Big danger. Long, normally constructed Buick. Normally a good kick off one leg. Misses. Let off. So Buick missing. Good signs for Essendon after Liptak gold in the first minute. Scott Hodges, like Ben Hart, playing in his first AFL final, kicked 6 goals in the opening quarter for Port Adelaide last week.
Different story here this afternoon, Bruce. Playing in an AFL final, preliminary final. A lot more pressure than playing for Port Adelaide.
Ben Hart gets distance this time. Ren the target. Pittman. Somerville at the back. Free kick going to Pittman. Somerville just getting his hand on his shoulder.
They have gone for the 2-pronged attack, Adelaide. Obviously worried about Modra over the last couple of weeks. Looking for Scotty Hodges to do his share of the goal kicking.
Pittman, nice kick towards centre half forward. No mark taken. In there is Mercedes. Gets what you'd probably classify as an effective kick away. Had no one to give it to. Went for the boundary line and did it well in the finish. Joe Mercedes. Very good article in the Herald Sun today about Joe Mercedes and Mark McCurry, written by Trevor Grant. Here's Nigel Smart. Now he's forced to kick with the left foot. High. The breeze may hold it in the field of play. It does. It's knocked over. And a boundary throw in the left forward pocket for Adelaide. Essendon 2-2, Adelaide 1 goal. Chance here for Adelaide. Smart doing the ruck work against Somerville. Chance again for Liptak. Smother affected by Thompson. In goes Liptak again. Can't get the ball clear. Caught the football, Grenville. Couldn't really do much with it. And the umpire will bounce about 20 metres from the Crows' goal. They got the first goal through Matthew Liptak. Essendon have replied. They've now kicked 2-2. Salmon and Watson, the goal kickers for the Bombers. Two of their most experienced players. Big punch by Somerville. Goes over for a boundary throw-in about 20 metres around.
He's run pretty well, Robbo, hasn't he, the last couple of weeks?
My word.
Peter Somerville.
Much maligned player, and I think unfairly, Bernie.
Very good job against Justin Madden in the qualifying final.
Goes with Smart this time, Somerville. Missed by Modra. McGuinness over the top. Grenville taps it out. Bickley. Jarman's got good hands normally. Liptak to Brown. Left foot snap kick. A good one by Brown. A goal. A great goal. So the Crows bounce back. They cheer in Adelaide and they cheer here at the MCG. They're within 2 points.
Yeah, well, it's a great effort whichever way you look at it for the Adelaide Crows. Third season in the competition. We'll have a look at this again in replay, but 3 years in the competition and already in the preliminary final. What a record that is.
Good performance there by Jarman, Bernie. I think he needs to get between the players' legs there with that little hand pass.
At close quarters, there's none better than Andrew Jarman.
Ruck contest. Somerville will get the ball clear. He goes to Hills. That kick was smothered. Still at centre-half forward for Essendon. Little kick by Flarp. Anderson. Now Tregenza for the Crows. Good kick too. Brown has a chance. This ball should sit. It does, but he's on his unfavoured side. Now he gets onto the left foot. Long kick to the goal front. Nearly a mark taken back there by Hodges. It's hurried over for a rush behind to Adelaide.
There was a brilliant smother back at half back there by Mark Visca. It set that turnover up, and Adelaide nearly had the chance here with Brown 50 metres on his own.
Fletcher very short danger. The Brown tackle all right now. Wanganeen stops, props, handball, puts pressure on Grenville. Gee, Wiedemann had him for a while. Play on call. Bickley in the pocket. Does he run out of play? Still in there. Here's Brown's already kicked one. Left foot snap. Another great goal.
Outside 35 degrees. Moving in today, it looks like some.
In a country as unpredictable as Australia, your family deserves all the protection you can give them. The powerful Australian designed and built Mitsubishi Verada V6 wagon.
Now O'Donnell clears from the centre for Essendon. A high kick in towards full forward. Oh, yes. A good mark taken by Salmon.
I just noticed, Robbo, behind play too, Brian Wood, the Essendon runner, now having a chat to Joe Mercedes, who seems to have some injury problem, maybe the hamstring again. Well, that'll be a major blow to the Bombers if they lost him.
Well, Salmon has the football about 30 metres out. He's already kicked one goal. But what a start by David Brown for Adelaide. He's kicked two. 19 plays 14. Adelaide lead. Salmon a chance to put the Bombers back in front. Certainly will get the distance. Good looking kick. Salmon's got his second goal. 2 goals to Salmon, 1 goal to Watson. And Essendon lead by 1 point.
Well, no problem there with the early season jitters with his goal kicking. And this is a very good mark on the lead against Salmon out in front. And really there's no one in Australia can stop this man when he's on the lead, because with his added height, 206 centimetres, and when he's at full reach, there's no hope of stopping him.
There's Sean Wren to attack the football at the centre bounce up against Somerville. He gets the tap out. Taken by Long. Knocked on. Long a chance. Jarman into the path of Visca. Hand pass Wren. Off to McGuinness. McGuinness's kick. Wide. Mercedes leads in the race for the ball. Moving a little gingerly. And couldn't do much with the football there, Joe Mercedes.
Maybe a little tentatively there, Robbo, do you think?
We'll watch him closely over the next 2 or 3 minutes to see if he can just shake off what we think may be a leg injury.
Smart and Grenville. Grenville in the front spot. Wiedemann couldn't get the reflex handball. Should have giving it away. Had a pro running past. O'Donnell's free kick. Gary O'Donnell. Good tackle, wasn't it?
Great tackle by Gary O'Donnell.
It's in that 1990 grand final when Collingwood won.
He seemed to run a long way over the mark there, Wiedemann. Unless he went back a long way.
I think Essendon, at quarter time, better hurry up so Sheedy can get a bit of a chat to them. I think they're just a little bit
shell-shocked early.
Confident. No, just a little bit too confident.
Smart and Grenville again. Smart wins it. McGuinness with him. Denham will be his tag today. And again out of play. So Adelaide at 3-1. Essendon at 3-2. Halfway through this opening quarter. Preliminary final. Essendon's been in 25 grand finals. The Crows looking to get into their first. Jarman always looking to give it away. Might have been better off the kick. Long stages for a free kick and gets one.
I'm with you, Bruce.
Yeah, there wasn't a lot in it, was it?
Bit lucky to get
there,
that.
Robbo?
Bit lucky.
So Michael Long from half-back.
Played a terrific game last week against West Coast. Kick probably not too bad in the finish. Anderson can't get clear. Maynard. Hand pass ineffective. Hurd looking for Buick. Ball being dumped. There was Kelthorpe. Kick off the ground. McDermott. Good combination there. The Crows got in to help out there. And it was Ben Hart who eventually got the possession. But McDermott and Visca both worked hard. Jarman. He's kicked towards the half forward. Wanganeen couldn't take the mark. Essendon fans appealing for the free kick. No. Look at this man. Nigel Smart. Handball over the top. Is it all right? Modra. Unselfishly. Smart will get the goal. Brilliant football by Adelaide. It's all clear. It's a goal to Adelaide. Don't worry about that. But great football by 4 or 5 players. Nigel Smart gets the tap on the head. The Adelaide fans are ecstatic back home. And the Adelaide fans here at the MCG are pretty happy. Adelaide lead.
Well, they started brilliantly, Adelaide. There's no doubting their football ability, this Adelaide side. They've shown it on numerous occasions back in Adelaide. And we see a mistake there by Peter Somerville. He held off Nigel Smart, worried about the player that was, well, he thought he may have received the hand pass. He should have really went at Nigel Smart.
4-1 to 3-2. Great football by Smart. Ola Renshaw, handball went straight to Bickley, out of the centre square. Tregenza runs hard with Wanganeen. Free kick, no free kick Wanganeen. McGuinness to Liptak. Liptak goes for it, should have straightened up. Really could have done more there. Behind to Liptak. Adelaide at 4-2 to 3-2. Graham Pawns will be getting married shortly with Mickey Taylor and John Howard alongside of him. His engagement was announced during the week. Here's Fletcher. Again pressure. Now Wiedemann could almost let this run out. Goes back inside to Wren. He's got Anderson. Anderson's about 75 metres from the goal. Goes bang with a long one. Hodges went early and nearly held it. Not paid. Wanganeen legged. Free kick. Oh, yes. Free kick to Wanganeen.
Yes, almost a great mark there by Hodges, wasn't it?
Would you have played it?
I don't think so, Robbo. No, I don't think so. He didn't control it all the way down. It's perfect conditions here for football. Let's have a look at it. 1, 2.
No.
And there, Flood. Yep. Flood had his hands in there.
Long short. Gee, Essendon are struggling a bit early. Wiedemann's hip and shoulder was good. Goes in after it. Gives a handball to Jarman. Jarman's left foot snap to behind. 4-3, 3-2. Well, I said 10 minutes ago, good signs for Essendon at 2-2 to a goal. Suddenly good signs for Adelaide. There's a pretty unlucky Adelaide player, Sean Tasker. Tregenza's off for Adelaide. Scott Lee's on. Smart takes the mark from the kick-in.
We're under siege at the moment, Bruce. We've had the majority of the play.
Having problems getting it out of defence when they kick the point, aren't they?
Exactly.
Short pass by Smart, broken down. And away go the Bombers. It's Buick with the football. McGuinness kept out of it by Long. Buick with 4 bounces, now 5th bounce, 6th bounce. He's carried the ball from the back pocket. Gets onto his right foot and thumps it in towards half forward, but the mark taken unopposed by Visca. Handball Maynard. And away to Rasciuto. Good kick by Mark Rasciuto. He finds Bickley. Bickley will go straight into the centre of the ground. Waiting for it was with Maynard. It bounced kindly for him. Away for Scott Lee. His kick towards half forward, and chipping in is Somerville to take a good mark for the Bombers.
to Wanganeen, sweeps away to Thompson. Buick again short if he wants him. Thompson goes long, good looking kick. Mercury, his first real touch. Maynard comes in late. Mercury's paid the mark at centre wing.
Mercury playing at centre half forward, picked up by Maynard.
Goes short, Hill's the target. Anderson runs with him. Hurd comes in, Anderson runs it over. Well, the last time Anderson was here, well, in the grand final, was in the Bomber colours. He had a poor day that day with a dislocated shoulder going off early. There's Anthony Danaher, one of the most famous families in footy, looking on his brother Chris out there today on the interchange. Free kick for Wren at half back.
Sean Wren, been a terrific player for Adelaide. He's got the football at right half back. Just a little undecided as to what to do with it. Then he kicks it in short. Well done by Pittman. He's run down from full back, taken the mark just behind the wing, and he's high kick in towards half forward. That's the mark. Wiedemann in front.
Yes.
Well done.
Thompson attempting to go for the mark from behind, didn't have the height.
Wiedemann ducks one way, then the other. Pass looking for Modra. Fletcher. Well done by Modra. Emphasis on him doing a heck of a lot more work after he hasn't taken the mark. He's got the ball there and can't quite do enough with the footy. Bickley there, and we'll have a boundary throw in about 55 metres around from the Crows' goal.
You're spot on there. Mark Micken in the crowd there looking on, but you're spot on with Modra. He must work a lot harder when the opposition has the ball.
Opportunity for O'Donnell. Forced to kick quickly. Good pressure by the Crows forwards. The ball rebounding. Michael Long. Ineffective kick. Hills. James Hurd gets the handball wide. Now the advantage could be with the Bombers. No, it's got to come back. Buick had it. He was in the clear. And he is not happy. The ball coming back to Paul Hills. Beautiful conditions here at the MCG. Clear blue sky after some torrential rain during the week. Ola Renshaw. Handball wide for Long. Backs inside.
Four, 3-4-2, Tregenza back for Adelaide. Somerville's handled it along again. Shrieks out of the centre. Chips at the Salmon. Oh, great footy on.
That's right, Bruce. I'm a little bit worried about that matchup with Andrew Jarman picking up Michael Long because he really hasn't got the pace to go with him. Michael Long, of course, as we know, one of the very, very best players playing in the game.
But does it stop anybody else chasing him? I mean, just because he's an immediate opponent, there should be someone else there to have a go at him, shouldn't there?
Well, that's right, Robbo, but you know how Michael Long plays. Once he gets that ball, he's very elusive, and he's got such great dash and makes it very difficult for anyone to grab him.
He goes right down the corridor, doesn't he? No boundary liner or boundary rider along. And Salmon's kicked two. This is for his 450th in his career, but more importantly today, it's to give Essendon the lead. So he kicked from 45 metres. Leans back, gives it a hook, not a good shot. So missed the Salmon, 2-2. Kicked 4 goals against Carlton, but copped a bit of criticism that night, and then 4 last week, very good against West Coast. So scores are level at the MCG.
These 4 goals came in the first half too when they were setting it up.
Hart short to McDermott. He's got Visca very wide. High ball. Pittman the target. Hurd in front. Pittman at the back. 2 grabs. Takes the mark. Swings around. Awkward looking kick to half forward. Wiedemann's in the box seat here. Tregenza with him. Thompson to go at Wiedemann. Still Wiedemann with him. Thompson well played. Wiedemann over the top to Tregenza. Tregenza short. Hodges on the lead. Stretches. Liptak out of play.
Liptak. Gee whizzy. If he'd have grabbed that Bernie, he was nearly away, wasn't he?
Yes, would have been difficult from that situation. Michael Simons, who was, of course, admitted from this side. Maybe a little bit unlucky, Michael Simons. It was up between him and Derek Kickett, who played today.
Well done by Bomber Thompson, taking the ball out of the air. His kick goes close to the boundary line, eventually over in front of
James Hurdoff, Robbo, interesting. James Hurdoff, he's had hamstring problems. He's been replaced by Derek Kickett, the player I was just talking about.
The Stormtrooper, Derek Kickett. Boundary throw in, left half forward for Adelaide. Jarman in there with a chance. Grenvold pouncing on the football. And the last man to get up, Sean Denham. Umpire will bounce. Left half forward, about 2 kicks from Adelaide's goal. Scores level, 4-3 apiece. Bickley, Tregenza. Short kick by Tregenza. Wiedemann left it behind. Denham a chance. Well done, Anderson. Committed himself. Gave it for McGuinness. McGuinness's kick out wide. Modra leads in the race. Can he get a touch early? He's given a couple of effective hand passes. This one could be a beauty for Liptak, and Liptak just misses to the right-hand side. 1 goal, 2. Kicked the first goal. Jamison with Mark Bicken in the crowd. David Flood to kick the ball back into play. Adelaide lead by that point. It was just kicked by Matthew Liptak. Flood goes to the far side of the ground. He's looking for Somerville. Anderson in front. Somerville does well. Wren dispossessed by Hills. In goes Liptak. Held didn't have the football. It spills for Bickley. Nearly the advantage. No. Umpire Brian Sheen officiating there. The ball must go back.
Yes, this is a free kick. Just held there. Knocked it out in front of him, Matthew Liptak. Clever play there. And he was grabbed by Paul Hills.
Now Liptak is probably close to 70 metres from goal.
Played a great game, Robbo, against Hawthorn, Matthew Liptak.
Good runner.
In everything.
Very, very good runner, Matthew Liptak. Short kick. Gives it to Anderson, who loves to thump the football long distances.
Hills was standing on the marker. Now this is his man they pass the ball to.
Good kick. Excellent kick. A magnificent mark. Taken by Tony Modra.
Well, that's what he must do, Rob. Over the last couple of weeks, I think he's been staying back in the goal square far too much and not leading. This man is a devastating player when he leads.
I'm of the belief that if you give him a chance, you've got to kick the ball properly to him. Yes. He'll lead for you.
Well, there's no doubt about that. That's marked there to Tony Modra. 158 marks for the season.
Well, he's a chance to kick a goal from here. A definite chance. A brilliant kick as a goal.
How does it happen? You're down in a mine, or painting a sign, or straining until you thought you'd burst. You sure got a thirst. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. You're leading the band, lending a hand. You can get it any old how. Matter of fact, I've got it now. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer. And the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter.
Adelaide by 7 points in the preliminary final. Modra after a brilliant mark and goal. Thompson to Masiti. Out wide. Anderson has been on top of Hills early. Hills, who did the job on Matera last week, playing in his 50th game today and out of play. Centre wing. Thomas slightly in attack. Wren won the tap. McDermott overran it. Watson's handball okay. Cowthorpe stopped and propped. Goes up to half forward. Buick with one hand, unable to. Maynard just punches it away in the direction of Hart. Watson's hip and shoulder good. And it's out of play at half forward. Essendon attacking.
He's been throwing his weight around, Timmy, on the half forward line. A couple of very good hip and shoulders. A couple of very good shepherds behind play there from Timmy also.
Wren and Somerville. Somerville read it best. Ran into trouble. Got it back. Quick kick around the body by Mercury. Bickley. Nice mark. Good mark under pressure by Bickley. Been one of Adelaide's best players this year. Lovely kick. Gave Rashudo every chance. This man, the youngest man on the field today, 18 years of age. Great kick to Pittman. Has got Maynard running if he goes to him. He does. Wiedemann again. Oh, not a good handle by Maynard. Wiedemann was a bit proppy anyway. Gave Grenvold a little push. Long did well to Thompson. Thompson's quick kick to centre wing. Marked by Renshaw. And a good one.
Good effort. Yeah, the handball wasn't good there from Maynard because he was handballing to a stationary player in Wiedemann with his back to the play.
Big chance for them, wasn't it?
It was.
Gone begging. Rashudo overruns the football. Buick. He might make him pay. He nearly went for the goal front. Smothered by Rashudo. Picked off by McDermott. And a good kick. Vision excellent. Finds Maynard. Short kick by that player. And the mark is taken by Bickley, held up by Olorenshaw. 50 metres, not before coming. Come on, umpire, you're stopping the player from playing on. Bickley, centre wing, kicks it long, in towards the 50-metre line. It goes back. Liptak, run on, son. No, he couldn't quite control the football. Neither could Nigel Smart. Chance for Modra. Kick it. He does. And he gets another goal. Has he? Yes!
Good afternoon. 6 people have been killed in a horror plane crash at Launceston Airport. A twin-engine Piper Navajo clipped power lines as it was coming into land. Those killed were members of a football team on an end-of-season holiday. 4 people survived the crash. Back home, and firefighters have responded to a whimper for help from a trapped puppy. It's a heartwarming escape from a backyard drain. Join me for 7 Nightly News tonight at 6.
Nobody knows Adelaide like 7.
Tony Modra moving around a lot better this week. On the move, he looks a terrific player. 125 goals now for the season.
6-4, 4-3, couple of minutes remaining. Somerville, Masidi back to Somerville. Jarman on hands and knees. Good tackle put on Bickley. Essendon through Denham out of the centre. Rashuto versus Buick. Wanganeen, who's having a run up forward. Still Wanganeen. Wanganeen in the pocket, tries to bring it back and kicks it behind. Wanganeen, who played in the premiership team at Port Adelaide at 17 years of age. Twice in the AFL team of the year, like Ben Hart, this man. Goes very short to McDermott. He's going to have to go back. Wait for the goal umpire to have completed his task. So the Bombers are 4-4, Adelaide is 6-4. It's been a stirring opening quarter.
Terrific, Bruce, isn't it?
Great footy at both ends of the field. Hart goes straight down the centre. Pittman and Rennie's dual target. Somerville did a good job. McGuinness breaks through beautifully to Tregenza with a bounce. A second bounce. Gets very close to the man. Long kick. Hodges sets himself and takes up the UT.
A little bit of hanging on there before the ball got there, Bruce. I thought Hodges grabbed Flood's jumper. And the umpire, with that quick play transfer from one end of the ground to the other, was 50 or 60 metres away from that incident.
Gee, won't this be a handy lead? Another one. Hodges gets his first. Remembering that Modra's got 2. Brown's got a couple, and Adelaide leads 7-4 to 4-4.
Oh, this is a big shock, I would think, for the Essendon fans. And we see this with Simon Tregenza, has had a fantastic final series. 55 metres, he kicked there we see. And just a little bit of hanging on there from Scott Hodges before the ball got there on David Flood. Here from a different angle. Minor holding. He probably didn't keep Flood out of the contest all that much, right?
Pretty good decision by the umpire.
Yep. 3 goals in 4 minutes, Adelaide.
Well, it's coming from the midfield. Tregenza there on his own, taking a hand pass from McGuinness. I think that'd be a concern for Essendon. Olorenshaw, dispossessed by McGuinness. Mercuri's handball, smothered by Wiedemann. Little kick off the ground. Comes to Thompson. Gets onto that left foot. High kick. Oh, top effort, McDermott. Buick off the ground out of the full. Free kick to Adelaide.
Gee, that took some courage, didn't it? Chris McDermott going back with the flight of the ball. And Paul Salmon on the lead. 110 kilos coming at you, right?
He's just a fantastic captain, Chris McDermott. Rashuto in the left back pocket for Adelaide. Good kick by the youngster. Out towards half-back. Punched back by Salmon. Wanganeen tackled with the football. Ben Hart. Olorenshaw. He's kicking. Deep in the pocket. Derek Kickett's long kick to the goal line is stumped over for a rush behind by Vista. Bombers. They trail 4-5 to 7-4.
Rashuto very short from McDermott. Again short to Bickley. Bickley at a half-back. Neat looking drop punt. Pittman the target. Went with one hand in the end. O'Donnell to mop up for the Bombers. Stops, props, sets himself, goes to Denham. Time running out for Essendon in this opening term. Siren sounds and Denham is in the heart of the centre square. And as Kevin Sheedy comes out, Denham still with the footy. Undecided what to do. Now we'll have a shot. Tries a torpedo punt, kicks it pretty well. But the score at quarter time is Adelaide 7-4 over Essendon 4-5.
The name of the game is Australia.
Teenager favourite.
Hello, telephone betting.
Adelaide race 3, number 7. Hello, telephone betting. Go ahead, please.
Melbourne race 2.
Here he comes, Citizen.
Trifecta.
Trifecta race 2, 7 to run first. Hello, telephone betting.
Sydney races.
Racing
Saturday
now.
double.
Back to
4 and 12.
First leg 4, second leg 12, and for 5 units.
Does it again.
Hello, telephone betting.
Get a piece of the action wherever you are.
Go ahead, please.
The Sleepy Hollow free base offer is on now at both stores. Buy this Sealy mattress and the base is free. Buy this Spring Air mattress and the base is free. Buy this Sleepmaker mattress and the base is free. Buy this Simmons mattress and yes, the base is free. No risk of buying the wrong bed, because at Sleepy Hollow you'll get the right advice and buy at the right price and get a free base too from Adelaide's very own bedding consultant. Ooh. Sleepy Hollow, open 7 days, North East Road, Valley View and South Road, Clovelly Park.
Until yesterday, I never realised how much my smoking could affect the kids. Jan, listen to this. When exposed to passive smoking, children are more likely to suffer from chest illnesses, including asthma attacks, slow lung growth, frequent coughs, pneumonia, bronchitis. I don't know when I'll give up, but I can tell you one thing, there's no way I'll be smoking around the kids anymore.
Don't let anyone smoke around your kids. For a smoke-free home sign, call 11538.
You probably don't realise just how much depends on the milk you buy. You see, there's only one major milk producer that's 100% South Australian owned, and that's Dairyvale. If you buy anything else, you're just sending money out of the state. That means less money in our economy, less jobs, less everything. When you buy pure fresh Dairyvale milk, all the profits benefit South Australians and we're all better off. Dairyvale, it's good for you and it's good for South Australia.
Look at that, look at that. Look at this. Peter.
Peter Shearer Menswear, Rundle Mall. If you want the look, you got it.
Recently, an object was sighted.
It was big. Bigger than big.
Large, astronomically big.
Big would be an understatement.
Very big.
Big. Huge.
When it arrives, you'd better not be alone. It's Bigfoot from
Pizza Hut.
A new style pizza with a big, big taste. Pizzeria style crust with special tomato and cheese base, plus any 3 of your favorite toppings. Bigger than large 2 for $1. 21 slices for $16.90. It's a lot for a little.
League changed hands 4 times in the first 15 minutes, and then Adelaide got on top, and at quarter time they lead by 17 points. 4-5 Essendon, Adelaide 7-4. Kevin Sheedy, Graham Corns also out there. Here's Max Stevens and Don Scott.
Graham Corns told the players that he wanted a good start and he couldn't have asked for anything better. Very pleased with the way they started this game because he said that was so important to get a good start. Now he's handed out a couple of instructions to David Pittman, who's on salmon. Andrew Jarman has a cut above the right eye. It could require some stitches at half-time. Simon Tregenza, he came off at the 20-minute mark, had a quick word to Graham Corns on the phone and then came straight back on, no problems there. Don?
Very hard to get close to the Essendon camp, but Kevin Sheedy did separate the backs from the forwards when he was talking to them. He had a word to Darren Burek as soon as the huddle grouped together. Also McCurry, spoke to McCurry about picking up Liptak too, because the change has been made. Wanganeen's now gone on the forward line off with Liptak.
Thanks for that, Don, and also Max, as we look at Tony McGuinness in the opening term.
Yes, well, one of the danger players, of course, Tony McGuinness in this Adelaide Crows side, being picked up by Sean Denham. Not a big influence in that first quarter. A couple of kicks went very wide into the forward flank area, but will have to be watched very carefully right throughout this match, Tony McGuinness.
And the match statistics indicating that Adelaide very, very competitive. 19 marks to 9 is quite a difference there. And they've shared the ball around beautifully all the way across the field. But I've been a big rap for their forwards, because their forwards have put lots and lots of pressure on the Essendon defence, making it difficult for the Bombers to start anything from anywhere on the ground.
Start of the second term, preliminary final. Adelaide by 17 points at quarter time. 7-4-4-5. Adelaide going to the right. Lee and Wigney again on the interchange bench for them. Hurd again sitting down for Essendon. Somerville got the tap. Wren got it to Jarman. Jarman with some distance. Modron a long lead. Fletcher with him. Liptak after it. O'Donnell to close on him. Liptak kicks it away. Anderson and Hills. Hills taps it forward. Now Liptak, who worked very hard from half forward. Good play by Liptak inside to Anderson. To Wiedemann. Excellent footy by Adelaide. Improvisation. Hodges in the front spot. 2 grabs. Brown tried to take it. The handball by Thompson. Good to Masidi. Masidi to Long. He could run away from Rashudo here. Here's danger. He'll take him on. Rashudo will try and bring him down. Long stops. Ready. Props. Looks for an opportunity. Goes to kick it. Hart with him. Kick it, centering kick. Visca comes at it with Salmon. Bad bounce for Salmon. Visca away. Looks for a handball. Sweeps it to Bickley. Bickley's got a couple of options now.
Over the top. No, he goes to the right. Visca got it back. Good running. Tregenza, the advantage is there. Tregenza's kick. Into the pocket, too short. Fletcher marks. Plays on quickly, transfers play to the far side. Olorenshaw under a bit of pressure here to gather. He bounces it in front of himself. Little kick off the ground was okay. Denham over the top. Mercury, who's been fairly quiet, his direct kick in the Salmon direction is excellent. Salmon dropped it. Play on. He's got another chance. How did he get that? Now he's caught with the full. Maynard can't get rid of it. Now the advantage is with the Crows. It certainly was their free kick. McDermott got clear. Had a look upfield. Looking for his rover in McGuinness. And McGuinness marks. Handball over the top. Liptak again. 50 metres out. Liptak for goal. Shocker. Out on the full.
Probably could have steadied Robbo there, Matthew Liptak. I'm just wondering about Tony McGuinness. Maybe he's playing on the wing there on Rick Olorenshaw.
Actually twice though, Bernie. Tregenza streaming into goal, straight to Fletcher. Liptak streaming in, out on the full.
Flood's kick out towards half back. No mark taken. Denham's little hand pass for O'Donnell. In turn, Olorenshaw gets onto the left foot. Short kick, okay. The mark taken by Masidi. Masidi on centre wing. Kick in towards, kick at the back. High fly at the back was Ben Hart.
Oh, brilliant mark, Robbo.
Gets clear. Handball for Rashudo. His kick in towards the centre. The big man, Sean Wren, onto the right foot. His kick too high. Paul Hills drops what he should have taken. Brown. Nigel Smart runs inside 50. And I think he may have kicked the goal. He has. Second goal to Smart. And a very important first goal of the second quarter to Adelaide. They lead 8-4 to 4-5.
Not only, Robbo, did he drop that mark, Paul Hills, but he's in a bit of injury trouble here. It looks as if he may be coming off the ground. In fact, yes, he is, Paul Hills. As we see this in replay, there he is. He may have just taken his eye off the ball at the last moment, worried about the players in front of him. And that turnover again, a few very costly turnovers here. Hills off the ground, replaced by Chris Danaher.
Margin out to 23 points. Visca loose in defence for Adelaide as Danaher's on. Big moment here for Essendon. 8-4, 4-5. Somerville goes early. Danaher tries to crash through. Jarman breaks the tackle. Left foot pass to Modra. Magnificent.
Very late, Fletcher. That'll be 50 metres against Fletcher also.
I'll talk about the classical stuff from Jarman.
As good as you'd ever see.
You'd never see a better kick than that.
No,
only by his brother.
Great skills, both of these Jarman boys, and that's Fletcher with the 50 metres for dropping the knees into Modra.
He was about to go back and kick his third and put Adelaide 5 in front. 3-1 on they were, Essendon. 4-1 on, weren't they, this morning?
Have you had a couple of bob on the Crows, Bruce?
Haven't had a bet, Robbo.
You wouldn't mind the odds now, would you?
Modra from the goal square. Straight through. 9 goals, 4 to 4-5.
Oh, what an upset this. Essendon last week looked like premierships, and in fact they were almost premiership favourites after their win last week against the West Coast Eagles. Oh, Adelaide, aren't they good? There's that pass there from Jarman, and sliding over the top with the knees there was Fletcher, which guaranteed a goal to the Adelaide Crows.
Certainly, I think in a situation like this you can fall into criticising the team that are getting beaten instead of giving promotion to the Adelaide Crows.
Oh, look, I don't think
just played brilliant football.
Oh, they have. Well, I wouldn't take anything away from the Crows. They've had it all over Essendon.
Well, the bounce in the centre, 9-4 to 4-5. Wren now starting to get on top at the centre bounces. Mercury couldn't pick up the ball. Tregenza did and kicked it forward. Bounces freely. Fletcher under pressure. Couldn't control the football. Still there. Now a chance for David Flood. He's going to get a free kick. He's between full-back and centre half-back. So the Bombers with the job in front of them. Short kick. Oh, a bit risky.
Very
Massey
risky.
takes the mark. They trail 4-5 to 9-4, the goal kickers. Modra's kicked 3. Smart and Brown have kicked 2 each, and for Essendon, Salmon has kicked 2. Big punch by Ben Hart, playing very well. Wiedemann on to McGuinness. McGuinness looks to the goal square. Modra! Ooh, he went high but couldn't hang on to it. And it goes through for a behind to Adelaide. And Paul Hills came off the ground just a few minutes ago. Don Scott.
Yes, well, he doesn't look too good, Ian. Although he did run off the ground, he was grimacing when the doctor was examining his knee. Now they've put ice on it, so I don't know as to whether he's going to come back on, but he looks as if he could.
Wren now, Smart, get back in from here. Hits the post. Well, we said he was a key, Burnley.
Yes,
Not as much as Modra, not more.
he is absolutely creating havoc across half forward. Grenville with his hands full this afternoon, maybe just lacking the inches and the mobility to go with Nigel Smart.
Flood to bring her back in. So Smart twice, an AFL Team of the Year member, like Ben Hart. McGuinness has been 4 times. Adelaide had 5 in the 20. Flood's kick. Mark taken by Ola Renshaw. Back to Mercury. Mercury from half back to centre wing. Wanganeen up forward now. Takes a sliding mark in front of Maynard. Looking for an option. Goes to half forward. Hurd back on the ground. Visca at the back. Wren threw it away in the end. Watson caught over the top. Visca has hold of him. It'll be a bounce down. Essendon inside 50. They trail 4-5 to 9-6.
Well done by young Mark Visca there to hold Timmy Watson up. Effect a good tackle. Ball up about 45 metres from the Essendon goal. Wren, Bickley, high, back near the centre. Michael Long's a chance. Away for Somerville, brilliantly smothered by Tregenza. But it rebounds for O'Donnell. Ola Renshaw's gone. McGuinness has got him. Look at that.
Look at the numbers.
3-1. Beautiful stuff. Graham Corns will be wrapped with that.
Yes, first of all, that's smothered by Tregenza, then getting the numbers at the ball there. 3 or 4 Crows players to the 1 Essendon player.
Andrew Jarman, the recipient of the free kick. He's kicked towards the forward pocket area. No free kick. Here's a chance. Brown, across his body, nearly performs a miracle. But registers just 1 behind.
Ooh, hush has come over the ground here at the moment. I think people are in disbelief.
Certainly.
Well, the majority of the supporters here would be Essendon, I would think.
No doubt about that.
Well, that's why it's hush, because they trail by about 5 goals.
Masudi swings it out wide to Fletcher. You played with such spirit this year. You just don't reckon they'll be lying down here. Essendon Smart over the top. Tregenza's handball to Wren. Wren inside, puts some pressure. Rashudo got a high tackle. He'll get a free kick. The 18-year-old from the heart of the centre square.
And Timmy might have copped one also there with Rashudo's arms flailing about.
9-7-4-5. Rashudo. Modra the target. Hodges at the back. Still Hodges. Kept it in very well. And just misses behind. So Hodges providing a little bit. He's kicked 1. And Modra's got 3. There's Hills trying to get himself right again. As Don said, he had some ice on his knee a moment ago. And he's on the interchange. Hurd back on. Flood to bring it in. Adelaide dominating. 9-8 to 4-5.
Yes, and it'd be a long time since Essendon have kicked a goal, I would think. 20-minute mark of the first quarter. There's a mark taken by Pittman outside 50 metres to give the Crows another chance.
Looks like Salmon may be on the ball at the moment, Robbo. Pittman right up from fullback, taking that mark, followed Salmon up there.
Looks for Modra. Oh, that was too easy.
Too easy.
That was just too easy. I think Dustin Fletcher now just looking as though he's down in a bit of confidence. The champion full forward from Adelaide has kicked 3 goals. So this for his 4th goal. He's had a fantastic season. Kicking from 35 metres directly in front. And it's another Adelaide goal.
The 1993 Brownlow Medal count is the AFL's Night of Nights. Who'll be the competition's fairest and most brilliant? Will an Adelaide Crows champion win the medal for the first time? Relive those memorable moments from season 93. Be there for the celebrations as another football star enters the history books. Your host, Bruce McAvaney. The 93 Brownlow medal count, 8:30 Monday, exclusive to Channel 7.
Adelaide's kicked the last 6 goals in this match, 10-8 to 4-5. Well, it's got to be crunch time now for Essendon as we get to the halfway mark of the second quarter. Buick tried one off the ground. Adelaide getting it out of the centre square in this term. Bickley over the top. Can't quite get free. Liptak tries to break the tackle. And again, it'll be a bounce down in the centre. Just feel now, Bernie, that Essendon have got to make its move as Tim Watson's gone to the back line on Hodges.
Well, yeah, it's desperation time at the moment for the Bombers. They're really being given a football lesson by the Crows.
Here's McDermott from the centre square. High ball. Smart caught underneath and Modra goes hard for it. Bouncing ball. Smart's normally very good. Got held onto. Tries to break a tackle. Handball went nowhere. Off the ground, O'Donnell. Danaher after it. Hodges not moving too quickly. And out of play.
Yes, Michael Long now being picked up by Mark Bickley and Andrew Jarman picking up Darren Buick. And look at that in the centre breaks. 4 to Adelaide, 0 to Essendon in this second quarter.
Salmon straight to Anderson. Anderson's left foot shot misses. Oh, hits the post. Good call, wasn't it?
Wasn't it, Bruce? I was watching the flight of the ball and I thought this is a bit early.
It came back on the breeze, didn't it? That one from Anderson.
Remember the big mare Empire Rose? She still hung on one.
Oh, you're a legend.
2 posters also for the term for Adelaide. One from Nigel Smart, one from Greg Anderson.
10-9-4-5, Long the target, gets him at centre half back.
Well, Essendon have just had trouble getting past the centre. This quarter is now over 10 minutes old, and I would suggest they've probably only been up there once or twice. Long hand pass. Thompson on the edge of the square. Short pass is all right. And Kickett made it good. In the finish, an excellent chest mark. Derek Kickett loves to bomb away from this distance.
Well, if they ever need him to do something, they need to hear this afternoon because the Bombers in enormous strife.
Kickett from 50 metres. Good kick to the front of the square. And an excellent mark taken by the ruckman, Sean Wren, getting back in defence for Adelaide. Looking to give the hand pass away, but I'm sure in the finish he'll kick it. Short. Mark taken by Rashudo, who's played well. A long kick by that player, out to the wing. Visca, another youngster, takes the mark in front of Wanganeen, looking to play on. Eventually does so. Centre half forward, no mark taken. Out comes Thompson. Got to do something to lift the side. Flood, Nasidi, O'Donnell. Short kick, okay. Kickett's got it again. They've just got to get a goal, Essendon. They've got no momentum whatsoever.
Hasn't kicked a goal for a month, Derek Kickett. His last goals were 8 against Footscray here 4 weeks ago.
Well, they had a chance just a minute ago to kick one. Couldn't do it. This one looks pretty good. It's an Essendon goal.
Mitsubishi Triton Utes and Express fans. They only stop when you do.
Wiedemann off for Adelaide. It's a long way to go for the Bombers, but they've kicked a goal. Adelaide had 8 scoring shots in this term before Essendon scored a goal to kick it. They're first in nearly half an hour of football. Danaher over the top. Or Jarman quite brilliantly to Bickley, to Modra. Great football. Jarman's hands in the centre there were exquisite. Gave Bickley the opportunity, and Modra.
Well, it's also, I think, Bruce, a very good move with Hodges in that forward pocket because Essendon have got more than one player to worry about. They've got Hodges to worry about. They've got Modra to worry about. And Modra really giving Fletcher a bit of a football lesson here this afternoon.
He started the season, Modra, with 10 goals on this very ground on a Sunday afternoon against Richmond. He's gone on to become a legend in Adelaide. And that time, he's let himself down by missing.
Never looked comfortable, did he? No, you could see the concern on his face. I'm sure these blustery conditions cause problems for the players shooting for goal.
What about that though, Robbo? 7 shots to 1 in this second quarter.
more than, he had 10 to 5 too, double the score, 20 shots to 10.
And Salmon doing the ruck work. He's got the possession. Away for Denon, but the kick was smothered. Brown tackle. McGuinness a chance. Chopped off now by Mercury. Long. Buick run. Gets rid of it. Kick it, you've got to go. Ben Hart did. Punched it away. Underneath all runners, Maynard. Kick it, tries to get it clear. James Hird has the footy, but umpire Goldspink would like to bounce it.
I'll tell you what impressed me in that passage of play was the chase from Nigel Smart on Darren Buick. Good to see Nigel Smart, the centre-half forward, applying that much pressure.
Good point. Kick it. Can't get clear. The umpire will have to bounce it once again. 78 kicks to Adelaide, 65 to Essendon, 45 handballs to 43, 28 marks to 19. Free kicks, 8 to 7.
Wren gets the tap. Rashudo snared beautifully though by Flood. Snap not good, under pressure out on the full.
Wiedemann back on for the Crows. Scott Lee off.
Scott Lee's been on for about 4 minutes, hasn't he? Twice. 3 minutes the first time and 1 the second, replacing Tregenza early on. Here's Maynard.
Oh, look at this.
Got a paddock, Wren. Can go for a stroll, and that's what he's about to do. Then goes with a long kick. Mercury should take it. He does. Not a good kick by Wren. Had the distance, but getting underneath it was lip tap. Mercury in short. Salmon the target. Essendon just starting to hold on here now. Get a feeling they might be about to make a move. Salmon's kicked the half forward. Flood out wide. McDermott with him. Started on Watson today. Flood goes back. Here's Mercedes. Got around McGuinness very easily. Denim inside 50. Little drop punt to the front of the square. Hart. Wanganeen. Hart. Bit of skill between those two AFL Team of the Year members, and over the line for a behind. So Essendon crawl up to 5-6. Adelaide at 10-10.
Well, I'm sure in the 11 minutes left, Essendon will not need Adelaide to kick any more goals, and they've got to get another 2 or 3 themselves. McDermott has the football in the left back pocket. Now decides to go long and kicks it high out near the wing. Good mark. Pittman off to McGuinness. McGuinness loves to run with the footy, but he gives it away. Creating. Wiedemann. Short kick. Too short. Knocked away by Chris Danaher. Back for Wiedemann. He's approaching 50 metres. He kicks it long. Very long. But wide. Out of bounds on the full. Essendon free kick.
He let himself down there, I think, Wiedemann, with that first pass, because he passed to a player who was completely covered, and the pass was only 15 metres anyway, Robbo. The long kick there would have been much more advantageous.
Watson with the football in the right back pocket. High, near half back. Good mark taken by Salmon over Wren. Handball for James Hird. His kick, looking for Flood. Does well. Then falls over. Gets it back. 3 Adelaide players right onto him. And you're gone. Because you had one chance and you did not get rid of it. McDermott has the footy now.
James Hird loose in defence at the moment for Essendon, so Sheedy ringing the changes. McDermott's kick up towards the 50-metre square. Smart was outnumbered. Jarman snared it beautifully. Over to McGuinness, inside 50, danger. McGuinness goes to the goal square. Watson underneath, takes the mark. Sweeps a long handball. Good play, Watson to O'Donnell. To Long. Long not take Maynard on here. Stops, waits, then runs laterally, then goes short again, looks for Wanganeen, tried a half volley, Visca presses him, pushes him in the back, free kick to Wanganeen. Centre wing. Next goal important because Adelaide's had a lot of chances and they haven't quite destroyed Essendon yet. Well played, Wren. O'Donnell snared it, goes short with a chip one. Ooh, probably should have done better. Bickley. Buick will kick a goal. Go, and does.
Foodland's famous 2-for-1 sale is back. Buy 1 bottle of Halls or Deep Springs and get 1 free. Buy 1 tub of Dairy Gold ice cream and get 1 free. Buy 1 pack of Dandy Middle Rashes and get 1 free. Buy 1 pack of Pampers Snap to Bake cookies and get 1 free. Buy 1 bottle of Dimension 2-in-1 and get 1 free. Buy 1 pack of Rich and Natural potting soil and get 1 free. In the Foodland 2-for-1 sale. It's on again now.
Here they go again, and have a guess who's going to start it. Long from the centre. Kick across the half-forward line. Kick it, can't take the mark. 2 players onto him, so
ball was bounced after that last goal had been kicked by Essendon. And that may have just carried over from that little incident, I think, Robbo, because that was completely unnecessary there from Mark Prosciutto.
So Wanganeen with the football. He would really have to do his absolute best here, I think, to score a goal. Gavin Wanganeen. A high kick in towards the goal square. Mark taken by Wren. Handball McDermott. Long handball. Get rid of it quick, Simon. He does. Off to McGuinness. McGuinness wide. Jarman. Good kick. Sets it up. Jarman to carry the football along the outer wing. The left foot kick by that player. Good penetration. At the back. Another sensational mark for Modra.
Modra at his best today, Robbo. He's had his critics the last couple of weeks.
And the fans in Adelaide. 5G.
They're ecstatic, aren't
Pretty
they? But Tony Modra, he's really turned it on here this afternoon into the MCG. Over the top again. Oh, superb in the air, Tony Modra.
Difficult shot. Close to the boundary line. He kicks. Oh, it's pretty good. It's a goal. 5 goals now to Tony Modra. No cheering from behind the goals, but when you look back at that young man, he knew it was a goal. Adelaide 11-10, Essendon 6-6.
He looked very relaxed there, in fact, Tony Modra. Having a look at that, well, let's have a look at this in replay with the run around the outer flank there by Andrew Jarman off the left boot. He has great skills, Jarman. And Modra, when he can get a fly at the ball, isn't he fantastic? Terrific in the air, great mark, great goal.
Back to 34 points again, 11-10 to 6 goals, 6. Centre square, a little give to Danaher. Free kick, there was a throw. It did look like that. Rashido to take the free kick. Anderson runs for him, he just gives it off. Anderson sweeps away onto his left foot. Goes out wide, Smart the target, gets him easily. Outside scoring range. Modra's about 20 metres away from the goal square. Makes the lead to the pocket. Smart kicks it to him. Fletcher at the back. Trying to read it was Hurd. As we said earlier, loose in defence. Out wide to Thompson. The captain on his right foot, not a good kick, slipping over to Masidi, and Rashido comfortably takes the mark. Hasn't missed a game since making his debut. Goes short to Wiedemann, who gets the hoots of the crowd. He's done all right, Wiedemann. Not a lot of finesse, but competitive. He's kicked to about 30 metres. Oh, Red!
This ball can play. Sean Wren, look at that. What a mark. That's what we come to the footy for, isn't it? See stuff like that.
Yeah, Scott Hodges just doing the body-on-body stuff with Paul Salmon. And Sean Wren, well, what a mark for a big fella. 12 votes last year in the Brownlow medal. That says a bit. He can play the game.
He only played one of the first 8 games this year. Now, goal here would finish off a great play for Wren. Drop punt hooks that he's missed. Well, when they show the replay in 10 years' time, we won't say he missed the goal, Bernie.
No. Look at that mark again. Sean Wren with the fly and reaching to the maximum there to take that mark.
Athleticism for such a big guy.
Yeah.
Terrific, wasn't it? There's Salmon indicating to Watson. Going to the far side. Now he backtracks. Now he goes back again. So Watson kicking in the Salmon direction. Had 2 players, so Denham did the crumb gathering and did it pretty nicely. Visca off the ground. Tregenza, Jarman went one way, then decided to give the hand pass to McGuinness. He's beaten for it by Buick, but very, very good pressure applied by both McGuinness and Wiedemann. Wiedemann's handball, not quite good enough. Tregenza goes in. Kick off the ground was ineffective. Umpire will ball it up at left half forward for Adelaide. 5.5 minutes left in the second term. Adelaide lead 11-11. Essendon 6-6. So what's that? 35 points the advantage for Adelaide, and they maintain their advantage with the centre breaks in this second term.
Smart over the top of Salmon. Here's Wiedemann. Tackle by Grimvold was good. Quick kick away by Thompson. Trying to get underneath it was Rashido. Lee gives it, was going to give it away to Wren. Then ran into a bit of trouble. Got a hurry kick away. Or Wiedemann surely a free kick. He does it continually, doesn't he? He should learn, you'd think.
Yeah, far too early there, Wayne Wiedemann. But what about this second quarter? 4-7 to 2-1.
11 scoring shots to 3. Denham off centre wing. Goes up to half forward. Wren. Well, he's playing the game, isn't he?
Well, that's an easy mark, Bruce, after that last one.
Oh, centering kick. Danger here. No, Maynard. Thought Kickett was going to be onto him. There's 50. Should be too.
Yes, he held on for a long time there. The danger was there because Hart had made position across half back. So Kickett, realising the danger, had to do something, I think, Robbo.
And good perception by the umpire.
Hodges makes the lead. It's in his direction. Goes strongly at it. Second grab, not paid. Tries to give it off. Can't quite. Lip tack. Brown. Well played by Mercury. Straight at it. Here's Tregenza. Centering kick. Modra's going to come from a long way back. Fletcher holds him up. And Essendon have the numbers. Salmon takes the mark at full back.
Paul Salmon is about 20 metres out from the Crows' goal. His kick looked for Mercury. Taken by Denham. Handball Watson. Get going, Timmy. Nigel Smart nearly had you. Oh, terrific effort there by Flood. Not paid the mark. Handball done. He'll tidy up. Handball. Smart. Gets rid of it quickly. Wobbly punt kick towards the goal square. Modra up high over the top of Fletcher. The ball rebounds for a throw-in 45 metres from the Crows' goal.
Much better this afternoon, Tony Modra, because I think Robbo has been prepared to leave the 10-metre square, something he hasn't been doing over the last couple of weeks.
49 metres from the Crows' goal. Smart into the back of Salmon. Salmon will take the free kick. Goes short. Grenvold. They've got to set something up here. 3.5 minutes left. Grenvold with the ball on centre wing. That's not much good for your forwards, but David Clark does well. Gets rid of McDermott. Markson plays on. Looks for Kickett. Oh, well done, Ben Hart. Punched it away. Rashudo goes back to Visca. Visca in turn Wren. Wren back to Ben Hart. Ben Hart short. McGuinness can't mark. Fiddling around. Maybe costly. No, they might get clear now. McDermott away from Rashudo. And Rashudo's kick. Oh, terrific mark taken by Whitcock.
Gee, they're playing at the top of their confidence, aren't they, the Crows? They've had a go at it today. They realise they've got nothing to lose.
Well, there's a chance to play in a grand final in only their third season in the AFL. So the lure is enormous. Michael Long tackled by Wiedemann. Ball rebounds. Maynard out in front. Hodges tackled by Watson. Dragged down. Wiedemann tackled by Must get the free kick. And it goes to Essendon.
Great tackle.
No.
Great tackle there by Salmon.
Why no advantage? Just when it's clear. Chance. They had two players where the ball landed.
You cannot work out the interpretation of this advantage rule this year, Robbo. I can't.
Salmon's kick. Hurd caught by Bickley. Ball spills free for Thompson. Nearly caught by Jarman. Ineffective handball. Pressure by Smart. Handball Wiedemann. 45 metres out. Wiedemann goes for goal and misses. And it was a very, very ordinary effort in the finish.
An easy shot in the end, Robbo. 45 metres. No pressure.
Well, they've kicked now, Bernie. 4 goals, 8.
He could have really sealed the match in his second term.
Just wonder about Wiedemann, don't you? His value at the end.
I like his enthusiasm, though,
Bruce.
no
question. He's so competitive, yet just can't quite finish off. 11-12, 6-6. He's winning the footy, but from 40 metres, rather have someone else with the footy in their hands in that situation. Fletcher wide. Wren sets himself. Well played, Salmon. A couple of minutes in the first half remaining. Rashudo took it off. Anderson got it from Wren. Anderson's probing kick to the goal square. Hurd getting back. Goal! It's a
goal! There ought to be a stat for desire. They could figure out a formula for it. Number of times a player dives for a loose ball, plus the number of times he took a charge, multiplied by the number of times he ignored pain. They could put it in the papers. The 10 guys who play with the most desire. Hopefully, they'd spell my name right.
And the Crows have made a change. Scott Hodges is off the ground. And Stuart Whitney has taken his place as Wren pumps them forward once again. Centre half forward marking contest. Out comes James Hurd to help out. And he kicks it clear. Too far. It's out on the full. And very ordinary signs for Essendon fans, I would feel.
I would think, Robbo, it's a real worry when you've got Watson on the back line, you've got Hurd on the back line, players that you're really relying on to kick the goals for you.
And Wanganeen has been switched around a bit too. Oh, really, Whitney Liptak can't get clear. And a free kick will go to Essendon. Could be taken by Watson. Couldn't quite see. Oh, Brown intercepts. Snapshot. Mark taken by Fletcher.
Terrible signs here for Essendon.
There's some shockers, aren't there? Salmon takes the handball and kicks it clear out towards the wing.
Danaher the target. McDermott couldn't take it. Floods provided just a little up forward. Well played by Cowthorpe. Jarman. Anderson crashes through. Should get a free. Was held on to. Masiti in the centre. Can't get it away. McGuinness over the top. Jarman. Denham. Loose ball. Bickley. McDermott's got Wren short. What a half Wren's played. Stretches. Couldn't quite hold it. Oh, well played. Big foul. Will it set it well? Could he kick a goal? No. To the square. And again, Adelaide completely on top here.
Yeah, he held back there on the kick, didn't he, Sean Wren? He did all the hard work. And when he got there and saw the goal face, I think he just froze a little bit on that, Sean Wren.
Watson short to Hurd. We're inside the last 20 seconds of this first half. I think the Bombers would love the siren to go. Thompson goes up to centre wing. Good fly, good mark by Mercury. Time running out there. Essendon definitely need a quick goal. I don't think they're going to have time to do it. And for the second time in this match, an Essendon player with a foot, he's stuck in the centre of the ground when the siren sounds. Well, what a turn-up this is. It's not over yet. There's a long way to go. But at half-time, it's 6-6 to 12-12. You wouldn't read about it. I kid you not, they were betting 4-1 on Essendon this morning. And if this was a scoreline at half-time, there'd be no betting if they were in front.
It should never be, though, Bruce, because I always believe if you've got 20 committed people on any given day in a game of Australian rules football, as long as you've got them committed, you're going to have a really good contest. And they started brilliantly, didn't they, Tony? And the first quarter was terrific.
Well, there's no doubting the ability of this Adelaide side. We've seen it every time they play in Adelaide. They can do it, so it's only probably been a mental thing coming to Melbourne and not being able to win. They opened the floodgates a couple of weeks ago when they beat Hawthorn, so they now believe in themselves.
Double the score at half-time. It's the Crows 84 to Essendon 42.
The name of the game is Australia.
To Essendon 3 in the second quarter. And at half-time they lead 12-12, 84 to Essendon 6-6, 42. Double the score. Modra the big goal scorer with 5 goals. Bernie Quinlan and Ian Robertson. Can the Bombers get back?
Big job from here, Bruce. I mean, they've only had 12 scoring shots, and Adelaide have had all the play. They started brilliantly in the first quarter. The goal that Liptak got gave them a good start, and from there on, I mean, they've had all the good players on the ground, haven't they?
And they've also got injury problems as well. We see there Hills obviously injuring his knee when he dropped that mark. Thompson not 100% fit. We see him coming across half-back with a little bit of heavy work there from Bomber Thompson. And the mark from Sean Wren, what about that mark, Robbo? It was set up for him beautifully, wasn't it?
He is one of the best players. You mentioned about last year, he got, 12 votes in the Brownlow last year. He's a terrific young player.
Oh,
and
no
I
doubt
think
about
that's
that.
the key. They've got, like Visca and Rashuto and young Ben Hart, all youthful players who have got just that terrific keenness for the football.
The thing is, they're running hard and straight at the ball, and they're getting the numbers there, they're getting the support there, and they've got the skill to go with it. They've got the finish, haven't they?
Well, that was one of the things that you mentioned in the second term, the fact that each time we saw Essendon under pressure, there were 2 or 3 Adelaide players there, one to apply the tackle, another one to come in and back him up in case he sneaked through, and a third bloke there to make sure that there was no Essendon path.
Yes, and look at the stats there. You can see they're on top in every area, Robbo, just about every area. Free kick 16-11 in favour of Essendon, which I don't think the Essendon crowd feels as if it's going their way. A few of the decisions there they haven't been all that happy with, but centre breaks 12-8. They've just been very impressive, Robbo. They've won in all areas.
So the Crows by plenty at half-time. We saw Sean Wren's mark a moment ago. We've got a marvellous grand final day competition. It's the mark of the year. It's a great prize on the end of it. Don't miss it.
The 7 Sport team will select the top 5 marks of the year. The Big 5 will be shown during 7's grand final telecast. Viewers in each state will be given a phone number to ring to vote for their favourite mark of the year. By phoning in, you'll be eligible to win a fabulous prize, a Mitsubishi Magna. And the player who is nominated as taking the mark of the year will also win a Mitsubishi Magna. Today's game is part of the Carlton and United Breweries 1993 AFL Premiership season. In today's finals flashback, we go back to the 1984 preliminary final when Essendon battled Collingwood at Waverley. Essendon came out on fire, led by 33 points at quarter time. A shell-shocked Collingwood never recovered, as the Bombers kicked a preliminary final record score to thrash the Pies by 133 points and storm into the grand final.
And Baker is alive, VFL Park. Essendon running rings around Collingwood at the moment. Van der Haar lobs it at goal and has put it through, I think. Yes, he has.
They all missed that one coming into meters more. Baker once again snaps at goal. It's going pretty close. And I think it'll be another goal to Baker. That's goal number 4. Towards Danaher's got the set. McEwen goes down. There's the goal coming up. Another goal to Danaher. That's his third.
David Parkham, the Carlton coach, has joined us at half-time. David here watching with a great deal of interest and a bit surprised. David, you were 12 goals out in your selection last Sunday and you're about the same so far at half-time in this match.
We want the Bombers to do a lot better to make me look better, but that's probably right. But I think that is indicative of footy in this year, and the way you happen to play, even if it's against the same opposition one week, doesn't determine either the performance or the outcome the next week. And I guess we can say that about a week's time also, that they'll obviously, if they get home now, the Crows, and I would think it's going to take a fantastic effort from Essendon. I don't think it's beyond them, but the things are going to have to fall into place in a way which they haven't at this point full on to win. So to have the Crows again, and I think we probably determined a bit the quality of the game at Waverley last week, and we don't have the power, I think, to do exactly that again. So we'll have a different game, a different kind of game, even if we play the Crows.
Tell us about Carlton this morning. You had a fully fledged training session. You've had some injury problems with Dean and Powell. A report on that?
Well, first of all, we did a full 2-hour, the equivalent of a game, with some contesting work, but controlled contesting work. So we've done the equivalent running, I suppose, time. Powell did the running and all that sort of thing, but didn't join into the normal training. But I think there'll be no doubt about him. He got through well. Deanie did another half, which is all we asked him to do. Again, we've got to wait on his the way he comes up afterwards. That's been the difficulty.
David, the week's break, is it a big advantage? You've had plenty of experience with grand final sides, premiership sides.
Well, I've been a part of it as a player and as a coach both ways, and I think as long as you come off a good win, if the Crows were to win extremely well today, to have been playing and to gain form at the right time can't be a disadvantage to them. But I think all the time you're concerned about players and injuries and feeling good in themselves and starting with a body which says I can do it. And I have no doubt that the break and the fact that we can come here and plan and get our side thinking along the right lines, I think it has to be an advantage. So to be there, we'd prefer it that way than having to come back through the preliminary final.
How do you compare your side this year to your 1982 premiership side?
Well, Bern, they're very different. They're different in all sorts of ways. We've got a different structure, obviously. We've got a lot more bigger and taller players than we had in the early 80s. We were a small and crumbing side. And we're a bit different in personality. I think this team is a much quieter, introverted team that aren't very demonstrative in their feelings, etc. It's a bit hard to read them in those terms, whereas the early 80s sides were full of, the Blakes, the McClures and the Buckleys and Sheldons.
The larrikins.
They'd be classed that way, and that was good too. I mean, for that team, it was right for that team. For this team, they operate differently. They didn't want to go away for the weekend. They want to just have a meal together tonight and be together in a quiet manner, and it's probably very different from a coaching point of view.
David, thanks for your time. We understand you're very busy today, and good luck in your build-up to next week and also in next week's match.
Thanks, Bruce. Thanks very much.
David Parkham, the coach of Carlton. He's got a perfect record when he takes a team into a grand final. 3 for 3. We'll take a break. We'll be back with more after this from the MCG.
It's the name of the game.
Michael Long and his second quarter statistics.
Yes, well, really, they do need a lift from their midfielders. Michael Long had a little bit of the ball in that second quarter, probably not enough because it really was dominated by the Adelaide midfielders. Forced to kick hurriedly on a number of occasions. Really, if Essendon is to get back into this match, they really do need Michael Long to dominate a lot more than he did in that second term. A very creative player with his hands and with his feet. And really, Michael Long has been one of the players that's maybe a little bit disappointing this afternoon here at the MCG.
So we're taking a look at Michael Long as we go down to the boundary. Max Stevens and Don Scott. Max, I noticed Pittman looked injured on the way out at half-time. Any news on him?
couldn't confirm anything, Bruce, but I understand there's something wrong with his knee. When the players went into the dressing room, Graham Corns took them straight into the discussion room. He's had a long talk to them, but unfortunately we weren't allowed in there. A lot of pats on the back, particularly for Sean Wren, playing a brilliant game so far. And also Tony Modra, been a question mark there, but 5 goals at half-time. Everyone pretty pumped up in the Adelaide rooms. Graham Corns did make the point, though, the third quarter is so important, as commentators and coaches always say. It's the championship quarter. That's the quarter they've got to win. One half of football won't see them through. Don?
Well, you had better luck than I did, Max. I got to the top of the race and couldn't go any further, but as I was walking across the ground, Paul Hills had his right knee strapped. Actually, the strapping was just below the right knee, so it's an interesting piece of strapping. I don't know what is wrong with his knee, but he looked as if he could come back on, so we could see Paul Hills back on in the second quarter half.
Well, he's out there now, Don. So Don Scott and Max Stevens, as we take a look at the team statistics.
It's a very even performance, I think, Robbo, as we have a look at that.
I'm very impressed with Mark Rasciuto. I think he is one of the most
he'd be buying
promising young players in the competition.
Yes,
and you
no
see
doubt.
there he's had 13 touches.
No doubt vying for one of the recruits of the year, Mark Rasciuto, across half-back. Jarman, very creative, 7 and 6.
Key player, Nigel Smart, I think.
Yes, he doesn't need a lot of possession to be damaging, but he is getting his fair share of the ball in that first half.
2 goals too.
2 very important kicks, and doing a little bit of the ruck work on that forward line. Sean Wren has already had his average hit-outs in half a match, so he's having a marked influence on this game.
What about one of those 5 marks he took?
Well, that's a big contender for the mark of the year.
Yep. Thompson has been probably their most prominent player with 15 possessions. But the players that have been responsible for Essendon being where they are, guys like Michael Long, Joe Masiti, Mark McCurry, Ricky Ollerenshaw, Wanganeen, I think what Sheedy has got to do, he's got to take a bit of a punt here and put a few players back into set positions and go with them for about 20 minutes and see what that can do for them.
Yes, well, just look at the bottom of that page, Robbo. Players that have been influential in the last couple of weeks in Ola Renshaw, who's only had 4 kicks. Mark McCurry, who's been one of the recruits of the year, has only had 6 kicks. Wanganeen has been moved to the forward line. And I think it's desperation time for Essendon when you move Wanganeen into that forward line.
Well, that's what I mean. You've got to get back to... I'd take a punt and put Hurd at centre-half forward, Salmon at full forward, Somerville in the ruck, and get back to those set places in defence and just throw the challenge to the players as they were in the 20 games or the whole season where they play.
Well, there's Mark Harvey, who missed out again through injury. He missed out last week also for the Bombers, and his injury must be fairly serious.
Well, Hurd won't be at centre-half forward, Robbo, because he's coming off with Hills. What's the story with Pittman, Max?
Well, I just spoke to the Adelaide football manager, John Condon, and he said he has got a very slight knee worry, but no problems, and he'll be taking his position in the second half.
Well, he's out there. Lee's on the interchange with Scott Hodges, so that's interesting. Hodges has only kicked the 1 goal, but I think his presence has been important for Modra.
Yes, I think he's been very important. They've chosen Wigney halfway through that second term to replace Scott Hodges.
Watson in the forward line with Kickett. Salmon at full forward. Hurd on the interchange with Hills.
And Wanganeen back on the back line.
And still with those short guys across the half forward line. All finals have been won with key players at centre-half forward. You can go back as long as you like, Bruce.
Second half about to start. A most remarkable opening half with Adelaide leading 12-12 to 6-6. It's a 7-goal margin at half-time. A place in the grand final for one of these two teams. Somerville wins the tap uncontested. Masiti playing up forward, runs at it. Maynard with him. Brown, who kicked 2 goals in the opening term. Maynard under pressure, just dropped it on the ground. Long gets through. Masiti, who looked to be in trouble in the first half, got it to Ola Renshaw. Got time to steady, chips it to Salmon. Free kick surely. Free kick to Salmon.
Well, the general consensus at half-time, Bruce, was that they couldn't get back into this game, Essendon. If they do kick a couple of early ones here, maybe they're not out of this contest. Here it is, very early. Pittman over the top, interfering with Salmon. The umpire was about 5 metres away, had a very good look at that one.
2 goals, 2 for Salmon.
We just mentioned there that Michael Long was very slow to regain his footing, and he was the player that got the ball out of the centre. Terrific handball from in under.
Well, what a big kick this is. 2-3 to Salmon. You wouldn't believe it, would you? From 25 to 30 metres out. 6-7 to 12-12. The Bombers need everyone they can get.
Yes, that was really the most important shot he's had too, Bruce, because this second half, and this particularly early in this third quarter, they need to kick a couple of early ones to give them any sort of chance to get back into the match.
Hart's kick in, punched away by Somerville. Ball rebounds. Nearly a tap on by Denham was effective. O'Donnell snapshot for goal. Goes close to the square. Buick, no. Rushed through for another behinder Essendon. So what Adelaide started with in the first quarter, Essendon certainly need in the third quarter. Hills and Hurd on the bench. And Ben Hart to kick it back into play once again. 6-8 to 12-12. Comes to the members' side. The ball floating in the breeze. Punched away by Long from Jarman. Rebounds for Watson. Handball brilliantly. Denham, unselfish. Buick will get it down. Darren Buick kicks his second goal. And it certainly was coming. The Bombers surging forward. And they get their 7th goal.
Well, that goal really coming from a very poor kick out there from Ben Hart. Giving a chance there for Michael Long to tap that ball in the corridor area. Good little hand pass there from Sean Denham to the goal kicker in Buick. Well, a poor kick out from that full-back from Ben Hart off the outside of the boot. And kept it in that centre corridor area, setting that chance up for the Bombers.
Bombers fans lifting. 7-8 to 12-12. They've had 3 scoring shots in the second half. Somerville again. Long out of the centre. Away with a bounce. Chips it. Salmon the target. Well played by Visca to fill the hole. Salmon charging out.
Indirect though, Bruce, there from Michael Long.
I agree, Bernie.
Not the best option there.
Well, I guess if Salmon leads there.
Well, just ignore it because they must go for the goal face.
Visca wide. Maynard was his target. Here's Anderson. Had a very good first half. Capped it off with a goal. Not a good kick. Blind round the body straight to Thompson. The big possession getter for Essendon in the opening half. Chips it in, but again, not good footy. Wren takes it. Gives it off to McGuinness. McGuinness's poor kick into the centre. Smart got an awkward bounce on the hard turf. Smart has got terrific pace. Away from Grenfold. Grenfold pushes him out. Handball by Wanganeen. Ola Renshaw tries to break Tregenza. Back to Wanganeen. A fit of the fumbles out of play.
Yes, I think Nigel Smart at centre half forward just a little bit too good for David Grenvold with his pace and mobility, causing Grenvold all sorts of problems.
Boundary throw in left half forward for Adelaide. Grenvold with the football, and he's going to get a free kick. Well, obviously the umpire saw something that...
too high, Robbo indicated.
An infringement. Grenvold's kick in towards the centre. Watson's third in line. Jarman in front. Either took the mark or was awarded a free kick. Handball away for McDermott. Essendon have got to stand up here. McDermott's kick. Oh, went straight through Wigney. Modra off the ground. Ball bounces close to the line. Back goes Fletcher. Keeps it in. Centimetres in it, and that's all it was. The boundary umpire was only 15 metres from that little incident, and he signals out of bounds. Chris Danaher, tackled by Smart. Ball spills for Liptak. Handball Anderson. Loves to kick goals. Greg Anderson. He's kicked to the front of the goal square. Modra couldn't take the mark. Flood away to Wanganeen. Wanganeen handballs it in front of himself. By gee, that was close.
Good pressure there by Modra.
Kick off the ground. Goes wide to the wing. Rashuto. Well done. Too far for Andrew Jarman, but by gee, it was good vision and nearly a good kick by Mark Rashuto.
Well, they held back initially, Robbo. He was going to kick on the left boot, then change to the right boot. Andrew Jarman showing his displeasure there with that kick from Rashuto.
Boundary throw in, left forward pocket for Adelaide. Somerville. Oh, gee, that was tough stuff.
That was
terrific stuff by Bickley.
No, there's no doubting his courage, Robbo.
No, and he's been an integral part of this team since coming into it.
Yeah, undoubtedly.
He's only had 11 possessions today, but he's been a very, very good Adelaide Crows player.
Smart and Somerville. And out of play. 12-12, 7-8. Essendon with the early goal in the second half.
Mark Bickley now playing on Michael Long, Andrew Jarman, Gary O'Donnell playing on each other.
Somerville. Ola Renshaw and Grenville. Grenville gets away. Tregenza to put the pressure on. Grenville from half back. Kick it as Hart went to ground. Kick it can't keep it in, out of play. Goal in that second quarter stopped the rot for Essendon. Adelaide had kicked 6 straight goals to that point. And the Bombers still chasing hard and trailing by a long way. 34-point margin. Wren and Kickett. Jum couldn't get the handball through. Watson gets in over the top with Kickett. And the Bombers able to hold it up. After Jarman looked like he may have an effective touch. And again it'll be a bounce. Wren, hands on his hips. Goes with Watson and Kickett. Wren, well done. McDermott's got a bit of time. Centering kick, not good. Danaher got underneath it. Oh, made a meal of it. Brown away with the bounce. On the lead, Wigney. Should get him. Wigney couldn't hold it. Thompson under pressure. Handball to Danaher. Squeezes one to Mercedes. Good field, Mercedes. To Denham. To Mercedes again. Well played, Bombers. Ola Renshaw. Still Ola Renshaw. It's a better build-up with Tregenza able to smother. Runs on with Tregenza. Ola Renshaw comes back as a contest. It's good footy. Wanganeen gives it away. Liptak over the top. Bickley over the top. Liptak gets it out. Good umpiring. McGuinness went without it. Spent it before he got it. Grenville out to Ola Renshaw. Ola Renshaw squeezes it. Watson onto it. Takes it with courage. Held up. Maynard to Tregenza. Great footy. Should kick it to Smart. He does.
Could be a free kick to Wanganeen, of course. He was held there by Liptak.
Well done, Ben.
Kicked him out of the contest. Well spotted by the umpire.
Yeah. And this could be critical because the Bombers have got the players out on that far side of the ground. Thompson took it from Michael Long. That kick was ordinary. Mercury interferes. Yes, Mark. You've given away the free kick.
Nothing across half forward this afternoon for the Bombers, Robbo.
Ordinary kick by Visca, but Ben Hart had plenty of time. His kick in short, chopped off by Denham. Ball spills for Liptak. He can't control it. Comes to Michael Long. One bounce. Goes long. Looks for Salmon. Getting back was Wren. Still a contest. Salmon. Buick can't take it. Little touch by Pittman was important. Mercury close to the boundary line. Mercury does well. Handball Salmon. Get the goal.
12, 8. Wren goes early. Centre square's important. Long again. Third time in the quarter. He's turning this down. And tell you what, they'll take some stopping. We've seen them this year with the spirit up. And when they're on a roll, they'll take some stopping here.
Wasn't there a cheer then when that goal was scored?
12, 10-8. The Bombers charging at the Crow. So Adelaide at 13-12 to 10-8.
Today he has kick out in front of Watson. Watson makes a contest, does well, then gets the handball away. Ola Renshaw's had a few possessions in the last 5 minutes. Wren. Kick across the back line. Visca goes short. Anderson will mark. He's between half back and